the Republican Party is in 2023. The two leading candidates for Speaker, well, neither one of them have said who won the 2020 election. This is a party that is so lost right now and just wandering around aimlessly in right field.
Yeah, and that's not the fringe, that's leadership. That's the two choices who want to run the caucus in the House of Representatives, the United States of America, won't say who won the 2020 election. Think about that for a minute. We've gotten used to it over the last couple of years, but that's absolutely insane that they're still running defense. They're still running interference for Donald Trump, who's running for president again. And by the way, maybe we won't play it, but he truly yesterday an insane event where he was talking about
we're going to show
Barack Obama is actually running the government, criticizing Bibi Netanyahu, saying, I want to make sure I get the quote right, that Hezbollah is, quote, very smart, Hezbollah. So that's the guy that they're defending right now, while the sitting president of the United States makes speeches in defense of Israel, unequivocal defenses, and looks like a president, frankly, while Donald Trump is truly, truly appearing to be off the rails and, frankly, insane.
Out of his mind. I mean, praising Hezbollah, just like he praised Vladimir Putin, said he was brilliant after the invasion of Ukraine. All the praise that he's had for President Xi in China, always talking about what a brilliant man he is. Same thing, of course, with the tyrannical leader of North Korea. You know, he out of his mind. And again, the fact that Republicans are embracing this guy is absolutely crazy. Absolutely. Here we go.
This is
Hezbollah, very smart.
Crazy.
Chinese President Xi Jinping, dictator who has overseen China's downfall over the past 5 years, a very smart man. Russian President Vladimir Putin, a genius and savvy. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, who is considered by most human rights organizations to be the most tyrannical, the most oppressive leader in the world. He calls him, quote, a great leader. Look at that. Look, that's your Republican Party right there. That's your Republican Party. That's the guy who's in first place in the Republican contest to be the next presidential nominee for the GOP, while you have two people that are the leaders running for Speaker and who still can't tell you who won the 2020 election. It's absolutely crazy.
You have all these arguments about Joe Biden and his age. Please take a look at him over the past 2 days. And you mentioned Taiwan, you mentioned Ukraine, you mentioned the situation in Israel and the Middle East. Now, Joe Biden is basically managing a conflict and an entire world order. And he's doing it with clarity and with context and with a sense of humanity.
Yeah, you know, you stack up any policy press conference that Donald Trump had, any, over 4 years, compare them to any that Biden's had. It's just not even a close call. Biden might stumble, he may stutter,
he is a stutter.
He may speak slowly, he may lose his train of thought once in a while. That said, unlike Donald Trump, he actually knows who's running the government now, and he knows who he ran against in 2020, unlike Donald Trump, who still thinks what's this obsession with Obama, by the way?
Always been obsessed.
Always obsessed.
Remember where it all started.
Always obsessed. He was bragging about beating Barack Obama in 2016 and said he was way ahead of Barack Obama in the polls right now. He's got this singular obsession, Willie, with Barack Obama. It's not a good look.
Well, one of the founding fathers of the birther movement, remember that. So that was an obsession with Barack Obama. And now I guess I don't hang out in the dark corners of the internet where the former president of the United States does, but apparently there's an idea that it's actually the former president, Barack Obama, who's running the government right now somehow. And Donald Trump made that case at a rally last night while criticizing the prime minister of Israel and praising Hezbollah.
Well, that would be
great.
That'd be a news flash to to the former president, who's probably on a yacht right now somewhere in Bali. He has not had time to run the government. He's been traveling.
Still ahead, Israel is now preparing for the next stage of the war against Hamas as the conflict enters its 6th day. We're following all the angles from Israel to the White House and beyond, and what we're now learning about Iran's role in all of this. Deputy National Security Advisor Jon Finer will give us an update in just a few moments.
Also, some really shocking outcomes in Major League Baseball in the playoffs last night. We're going to show you those, and a team that many consider to be, the favorite to win the World Series out. That and much more when Morning Joe returns.
Then there was the inevitable attack 4 days later, which I predicted. And then 2 nights ago, I read all of Biden's security people. Can you imagine? National defense people. And they said, gee, I hope Hezbollah doesn't attack from the north, because that's the most vulnerable spot. I said, wait a minute. Hezbollah is very smart. They're all very smart.